Hello everyone, it's Shane Contug, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Dolittle. Now, I remember a little while ago when they first started talking about this, I'm like, wow, they're making a Dr. Dolittle movie with Robert Downey Jr. and this all-star vocal cast. I'm like, okay, I could be on board with this. And then it gets made, it gets filmed, and you don't really hear much about it, and then a trailer drops last year, and it's like, coming in January, and I'm like, oh no. Why is this coming out in January? And why does this one trailer for this movie not really show a whole lot of story or like even a whole lot of Dolittle interacting with anybody? And it's just like a little concerned. And then I finally got to see the film, and I can see why. I can see why they left this in January and why they seem to be hiding things in the trailer, because this movie is a hot mess. And I'm going to start with the idea that this had a lot of potential. It had a pretty expected, fun kind of idea for a adventure movie. It's very MacGuffin-y, going to these different locations, and Robert Downey Jr. is a very charismatic, talented actor. But here's the thing. It seems like he's trying to be the next Jack Sparrow. He does a crazy accent, which was so inconsistent and sounded terrible. And it was just a weird performance. And this film feels so all over the place tonally. And it really hits lowbrow. The humor's really lowbrow humor. This is trying to really shoot for this is for kids. And it doesn't really leave much for the adults, but then it does some darker stuff that it's like, should kids really be watching this kind of thing? And it doesn't really fit the tone of the rest of the film, because this film is directed by Stephen Goggin, and tonal issues, the pacing is horrible. I was bored. I was really bored for stretches of time in this film. And there's other scenes where it was so poorly edited, and it was so jumpy and ridiculous, and some of the logic in this doesn't make as much sense either, especially with this speaking to animals, which obviously it's a fantastical element of the film, but you at least have to be consistent with it, and not really consistent with it. But there are some fun parts with that, and the weird, awkward comedy of him interacting with animals in front of other people. But so many people just feel so wasted. Like, Jesse Buckley's wasted in this. Jim Broadbent's just like, ooh, I'm a twirling villain. And even more Michael Sheen, I'm like, I'm a twirling villain. And, Antonio Banderas is just, this weird pirate guy. And the vocal performances, a lot of them just feel wasted. Rami Malek gets a lot more to do as Chi-Chi the gorilla. And, Emma Thompson's good as this macaw. But a lot of the times it just feels like a lot of wasted talent. And Craig Robinson's pretty funny as a squirrel who has some weird quirks about him, and then Jason Mantzoukas, who's just like, I'm gonna Derek this, and he's like a dragonfly, and he has some zany moments, but there's just some weird choices in terms of story here. And if you really care about plot points, don't listen to the next 20 seconds, but the thing is, they pull a bagpipe and armor out of a dragon's ass, and it farts on them. And it's just okay. Yeah, that happened in this movie. There's some charm in here, somewhere. But so many things just mess it all up. So I really would not recommend this, and even for kids, take them to see something better, honestly. There's other options out there. Take them to see Frozen, or Spies in Disguise is considerably better than this too. And I'm sure there's going to be more kids things coming out. It's Onward's coming out soon, stuff like that. But yeah, those are my thoughts on Dolittle. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for supporting your Wasteland reviewer.